Hello, and welcome to Nuts About Baseball, a podcast that will entertain you with discussions involving everything baseball. I'm your host, Joe Grimme, and I appreciate you joining me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share my passion for the sport we call America's pastime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Nuts About Baseball. I am your host, Joe Grimme. Today, I'm going to talk about the career of Dale Murphy and my thoughts as to whether he deserves to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Haven't done a whole lot of historical podcasts lately. I've been doing a lot of interviews, and quite frankly, I miss doing these because I can dive deep into some of these statistics and the history of players and teams from the past. And I really enjoyed this because Dale Murphy was one of my favorite players growing up. Let's get into it. I had his poster on my wall. I had a T-shirt with his name and number on my back. And I really became fond of Dale Murphy in the early 80s when his career really took off. I'm going to talk about his career today and give you my thoughts as to whether Dale Murphy was born on March 12th, 1956 in Portland, Oregon. He went to Woodrow Wilson High School, primarily a catcher there. He was initially recruited by Arizona State University, but he was selected in the 1974 Major League Baseball draft by the Atlanta Braves in the first round, 5th pick overall. Spent a little time in the minor leagues. He made his Major League debut in 1976. Not a lot of time during that season. He only played in 19 games, had a .262 batting average. The following year, 1977, he didn't do a whole lot more in the majors. Played in 18 games, but his batting average jumped quite a bit. He hit .316 during that season. The following year, 1978, proved to be what I guess you can call his breakout season. He played 151 games during 78. He hit 23 home runs, had 79 RBIs, but a statistic you don't want to lead the league in, strikeouts. He led the National League with 145 of them. This started a string of 13 years during which Dale Murphy hit 20 or more home runs in 12 of them. The only year he did not was 1981, and as we all know, that was a strike-shortened season. Between 1978 and 1990, Dale Murphy, listen to these 162-game averages during that stretch. 160 hits, 31 home runs, 96 RBIs, and a .267 batting average. Dale won the National League Most Valuable Player Award twice, 1982 and 1983, back-to-back seasons. In 82, he played the entire season, 162 games. He hit 36 home runs, he collected 109 RBIs, and he had a .281 batting average. The following season, did the same thing, 162 games, hit 36 home runs again, collected more RBIs at 121, and his average jumped to .302. In 1985, just 2 years later, I would argue that he should have been much higher in the MVP voting for the National League. He finished 7th, but he hit .300 that season, and listen to what he did in the league overall. He led the National League in games, again, playing in all 162 of them. He led the National League in runs, home runs, and walks. He was second in the National League in RBIs and OPS, on-base percentage plus slugging, and he was third in the National League in slugging. Why did he not finish higher in the voting? Well, it all comes down to how successful your team is sometimes. Willie McGee from the St. Louis Cardinals won the MVP that season. The Cardinals won the National League East Division, and they went on to play in the World Series. The Atlanta Braves that year were 66 and 96, and they finished in 5th place. Dale Murphy played for 18 seasons, from 1976 to 1993. Most of his career was spent with the Atlanta Braves, 15 years, and then he had a short stint with the Philadelphia Phillies at the end of his career, as well as the Colorado Rockies, where he eventually retired. Here are his career statistics. Murphy played in 2,180 games. He hit 398 home runs. He collected 1,266 RBIs. He had 161 stolen bases. His career batting average was .265. His on-base percentage was .346, and his slugging percentage was .469. Career highlights: Dale Murphy was an All-Star 7 times. As I said, he won 2 National League MVP awards. He won 5 Gold Glove awards. All of those were consecutive in center field. He led the National League in home runs twice. He led the National League in RBIs twice. The Atlanta Braves have retired his number 3, and he has been inducted into the Braves Hall of Fame. Here are some of his notable achievements during his career. During the 1980s, he hit 308 home runs. That is second in Major League Baseball, only to Mike Schmidt. During that same time, he had 929 RBIs. That is tied for the most in Major League Baseball with Mike Schmidt. During the 1980s, now grasp this, Dale Murphy led the National League in games, at-bats, runs, hits, extra base hits, total bases, and plate appearances. He joined the 30-30 club, hitting 30 home runs and stealing 30 bases in 1983. Dale played in 740 consecutive games at one point. His 398 home runs ranked 6th in National League history amongst right-handed hitters when he retired, and he is the youngest player to win back-to-back MVP awards. Regal Maid is a family-owned and trusted cleaning service company that has been in business since 1986. At Regal Maid, we take pride in helping you and your family live in the clean home of your dreams. We believe there is no better feeling than being able to walk, sleep, and live in a clean home. Over the past 40 years, Regal Maid has satisfied over 500,000 customers while serving the entire greater Cincinnati area. Regal Maid is insured, bonded, and has a fully trained staff to make sure that each and every employee does his or her job the Regal Maid way. To learn more about Regal Maid or to obtain your estimate for cleaning needs, check out our website at regalmaid.com. That's REGALMAID.com, or call us at 859-781-3300. All right. There you have what Dale Murphy did during his illustrious career. Now, why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Well, this is silly, but I think it's true. It sometimes happens that if you're quiet, you go about your business and do your thing without making noise, you don't get as much press. You don't get as much credit for what you do on the field. Dale Murphy was absolutely one of the nicest guys in Major League Baseball. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, and he didn't curse. He just went about his business, did his job, and moved on. Another reason, which may be one of the biggest reasons he's not in the Hall, he played for a really bad Atlanta Braves team most of his career. During Murphy's stint with the Braves, they finished 6th out of 6 teams in their division 8 times. They finished 5th 3 times. They finished 4th 1 time, 2nd twice, and they only won their division 1 time while Dale Murphy was in Atlanta. Another reason is that Dale never won a World Series championship. He did fall just short of hitting 400 home runs, which is obviously a milestone that sometimes will get you more credit and consideration for the Hall of Fame. But think of this. He is one of the few players that you can think of that made a serious transition from one position to another and still had a great career. People don't remember that during the beginning of his career, he played catcher. He played 568 games at catcher, and then he went on to play over 1,700 games in the outfield. When Dale retired, there were 26 players in front of him on the career home run list. 24 of those players have been elected to the Hall of Fame. The only 2 that weren't, Dave Kingman and Darrell Evans. Both those guys had batting averages under 250 during their careers. Neither of them won a Gold Glove, and neither of them ever finished higher than 11th in the Most Valuable Player Award voting. Dale's career did drop off drastically at age 32 due to knee injuries. He was a 7-time All-Star. That is more than Hall of Famers Ralph Kiner, Duke Snider, Dave Parker, and Jeff Kent. Let's compare him to a few players that are in the Hall of Fame, starting with Jim Rice. Jim Rice is in the Hall. Murphy has 2 MVPs. Rice has 1. Murphy has 5 Gold Gloves. Rice has none. Wins above replacement. Again, it's not the only indicator to rank players, but it's a good discussion point. WAR for Rice, 47.7. Murphy, just a tick below, 46.5. Let's talk about Harold Baines. He's in the Hall of Fame. Murphy has more home runs. Baines has no Gold Gloves. And Baines' WAR is 38.8 compared to Murphy's 46.5. Baines is in the Hall. Finally, Kirby Puckett. Kirby, great career. He had 207 home runs compared to Murphy's 398. That's a difference of 191 home runs. Murphy had 181 more RBIs than Kirby. Puckett had no MVP awards. All right, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. He became eligible first in 1999. I have no idea how, but he only received 19.3% of the votes during that year. You need 75% to get in the Hall of Fame. One of the reasons, in my opinion, is this vote was during what we call the steroids era in Major League Baseball. Voters were watching players during that time crush the ball, hitting 40, 50 home runs on a regular basis, just much higher power numbers than the players that played in the 1980s. And unfortunately, voters, I think, were comparing his numbers to the numbers that they were seeing live. The best voting result for Murphy was the following year in 2000. He received 23.2%. That's ridiculous. This guy should have gotten way more votes, in my opinion, and it's a travesty that he didn't. In 2023, he was eligible and put on the contemporary era ballot. He received 6 of 16 votes. You have to get 12 votes to get in on this ballot. 3 years later, in 2026, he was on the ballot again. He only received 6 votes of the 16 again. He will again be on the contemporary era ballot in 2028. Again, he needs 12 of the 16 votes to be elected. While I doubt that any of those voters are listening to my podcast, I think it is ridiculous that Dale Murphy is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and he should be put in stat. All right, there you have it. A quick, short, and sweet tribute to Dale Murphy, who is now age 70, still alive and kicking, and my thoughts as to whether or not he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I hope you have enjoyed this. Thanks for listening, as always. Until next time, I am Joe Grimme, and I am nuts about baseball.